What the just happened? Hello and welcome back to the weekly crypto review. You know, last week I did the review a day late because life interfered. This week I almost did it a day early because, well, markets. I am assuming that you have been looking at the markets. You've seen what's going on, and I'm going to try and, as the title of this video relates, I'm going to try and calm your fears and tell you not to panic. Why? Well, let's take a look at what we've got here. So, we'll start out with everything's down. It's as simple as that. Except for, stable coins, pretty much. Everything else is down over the week. Yeah, literally a handful or two of coins are up. Everything else is in the red, and it's in the red by double digits. Bitcoin this week is down nearly 37%. That is incredible. That is scary. Watching Nicholas Merton over at DataDash, he's got, we've got this line here. This only goes back to, beginning of the year, really. December of 2018. Well, all right, so yeah, over the last couple of years. He's got one on a logarithmic chart that goes back, and because it's logarithmic, it actually fits in with this chart better. He's got one that goes back 5 years, and this candle dropped well below it. So that means that this line now is no longer valid. Can't use it anymore. So what happened? There are a lot of rumors going around about what actually happened, why it happened. A lot of it has to do with the beer illness that's going around. Some people are talking about a group of scammers who are dumping coins on the market. Let's take a look and see what we can find. So if we go to the daily, because we know this happened yesterday. All right, I'm filming this on Friday morning. So this was as of the 12th. And let's take a look and see what we got here. Let's see here. I want to look at price range. So we went from here down to, come on, right there. So we dropped yesterday. We dropped 41.75% yesterday. Now, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, they're known for large moves, even in a single day. 40% up or down is not unrealistic. It's not outrageous. And had this happened up at, if we had started this up at $14,000-$15,000, we'd be down near $10,000, and people would not be freaking out like they are now, because we started at $8,000, and we're now down at, what is it, 5,400? 5,200? 5,300. We're at $5,300 now. We have dropped down to a point that scares people. And I will admit, I am just as nervous as you are. I purchased, let me go back to the weekly. I purchased right here on first week of April 2019. Okay, last year. I got in at around $4,900. Well, we're now sitting at $5,200, $5,275. So we're literally $400 away from where I bought in. And it was as low, if we look at the candle here, we see that our low was $4,000. It dropped down $900 below where I bought in. That's scary. And if you are underwater, if the price currently is below what you purchased at, I understand that you're probably, if you haven't already panic sold already, you're certainly considering it. I cannot and will not give you advice. What I will say is that as bad as things look right now, if you believe that you have lost money because the price of Bitcoin is below where you bought it at, that's a paper loss. What that means is that it's not been realized. It is not realized. It's not an actual loss until you sell the asset. That works with Bitcoin, altcoins, gold, silver, bonds, equities, stocks, whatever, everything. It's a paper loss because, as we can see with this last candle for this, and this is a weekly chart, with this candle, it went down as low as $4,000. It's now rebounded by over $1,000 from its low. Okay? And we can see this more dramatically on the daily chart. Do you see how this red candle dropped, and now we've got this green candle, and it's a at this point it's a spinning top. This is a daily candle showing a spinning top. Well, spinning top at this point we won't know until it closes out, but spinning tops and dojis are good. They're a signal of reversal. In fact, if I had looked at this, and I did actually look at it, up here, the week of February 17th, this is a doji. It's at the end of an upward trend, and I knew it was going to reverse. I wasn't concerned. This was at, let's see, we closed at 99.85, so just under $10,000 with this doji. This and the one before it went right up to this yellow line that I had been projecting at 10.5 that it was going to bounce off of, so I wasn't concerned about it. I knew it was going to bounce back down. It had hit resistance. It was going to bounce back down. I did not expect it to bounce as far down as it has. Why has it done that? Well, let's take a look at a couple of the theories out there. If we look at the hourly chart, and let's see here if we can pull this. So we've got a couple of candles here. We've got this one here, and we've got this one here. This candle here is yesterday and this is my time. So we're talking, I live in the non-existent time zone of Mountain Time. So we're talking at 1700, which is 5 p.m. my time, which would be 7 p.m. Thursday night. We had a drop. And again, at 4 a.m. that day, yesterday, Thursday, my time, 4 a.m., so 6 a.m. Eastern. Well, what happened? Honestly, nothing. Except that people were waking up on the East Coast. What changed from Wednesday during the day, during market hours, to Thursday, beginning of market hours? Well, the only thing that happened that I can think of is President Trump went on TV for 10 minutes and said, hey, we're restricting travel between Europe and the U.S. That certainly caused the regular markets. Let's see here. Let's go with S&P. I believe this will work. Yeah, we're on the 1 hour. Let's look at the daily. There we go. That certainly caused the S&P and the broader markets to drop like a rock. In fact, if we look at this over the weekly, it literally dropped off of a cliff. So we know that the president's speech Wednesday night had an effect on the broader markets, on the stock market. Absolutely, it had an effect. What about the others? Let's take a look at, can we find gold? US dollar per ounce, that should be right. And of course we're looking, this is again a weekly chart, but let's take a look at daily. Yeah, gold has been dropping as well. So the safe haven, the asset that everybody runs to when the stock market drops, is also dropping. And in fact, it has dropped. We start up here at the top of the wick, and we draw it down to where we are now, which is about there. And we've dropped 8.8% over the last, this is a daily chart, so over the last 4 days, we have dropped 8% in gold. Well, that seems really strange. Why would gold also drop? Well, if gold is the hedge asset that everybody flees to when they leave the stock market, why is it dropping in price? It should be going up. Well, my friend Mike Maloney over at goldsilver.com has been telling us for 15 years that the markets at some point were going to go into what he calls the Great Deflation. Then they were going to go into the Great Inflation, which is going to lead to the Great Depression. And the Great Deflation is where everything drops in price. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Gold, silver, stocks, crypto, everything is dropping in price. I mean, even if, let's see, we'll go back to our daily will work. Get off the auto. Everything is just dropping dramatically. Even if we go down here to... So, Chainlink, which has been our best performing asset that I'm keeping track of, suddenly, and we're looking at the daily, so over the last week or so, has dropped. Let's see how much has it dropped. Bring this up like this. There we go. Now I can find out what it was. So we start at the top of the wick, and we work our way down to the bottom of the wick, which is right there. It's dropped 69.3% over the last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. Over the last 8 days. So a week and a half, it has dropped nearly 70%. Incredible. Everything is dropping in value. What are you going to do? Well, apparently, everyone has panicked. And that's what we see here, is panic selling. Yeah, Bitcoin itself has dropped. Let's take a look here. We'll start up here, and we'll go down to the bottom of the wick, which is right there, and it's dropped 57.18%. Okay? That is how far it has dropped over the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So literally a week. What do you do about it? Well, if you look at the buy-sell wall over here, apparently you sell. I mean, actually, at this, we've got this large sell wall over here that is, it's an obstacle that's hard to overcome at this point. But the buy wall is much, much bigger overall. Okay, it's a fairly small sell wall, but a much larger in terms of volume, much larger buy wall, and we can see that. We can see that while Bitcoin today, and we're looking at a daily chart, has dropped, and again, it's gone up and down pretty far. Our low was 4,000, and our high was 59.73. That's a $2,000 difference. The bears want to take charge. It's a green candle. The bears want to. The bulls want to take charge again. And I believe they probably will. I suspect that this drop is very short-lived. We may go sideways for a little while the bulls and the bears were, duke it out to determine who's going to take control, because people are panicking. I absolutely believe that what happened yesterday, looking at that hourly chart, what happened yesterday was somebody sold, some whale sold a lot of Bitcoin. Now, whether it was just somebody playing with the markets or whether it was scammers selling their ill-gotten goods on the market, I don't know. Somebody sold a lot of Bitcoin early yesterday morning, 4 o'clock my time, 6 a.m. Eastern, and that caused panic in the streets. It caused people to panic. Oh my God, Bitcoin just dropped. And when you look at, we'll go back to the weekly, and we'll pull this down a little bit more. Of course, I erased my line, but it dropped down below that line. That line, I erased it because it's no longer valid. It's no longer, we broke down below it. So it's no longer a point of support. So what do we do? Well, if we look at the logarithmic chart, and they finally updated it, we can see it's dropped down. This line here was supposed to be the point of support that Bitcoin was never going to drop below. And in its entire history, It has never dropped below this line until now. Now it is. What does that mean? Well, it means we're in uncharted territory. It means that we don't know how low this actually can go. It could drop to anywhere because this logarithmic channel is no longer valid. Best case scenario, it gets redrawn with the low point up here as the new bottom. Worst case, the price drops even farther and it goes down. In worst case, it goes to zero. I don't for a minute think it's going to do that. But it certainly is possible. But it also means that because it dropped below this line of support, it means that it could now go up above this line of resistance the next time we go up. And I have every confidence that it will go up to that $100,000, $200,000, $250,000, $400,000 mark. I don't know where exactly it's going. I do know that this is just a bump on the road. This is literally that roller coaster that everybody talks about with Bitcoin. This is what volatility feels like. This is what fear feels like. This is what that FUD that everybody talks about, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If you listen to the mainstream media talking about the stock market, you will hear them talking about fear and uncertainty. They're not talking about doubt, but they are certainly talking about the first two letters of FUD. F and U, fear and uncertainty. Everyone is scared. One of the biggest axioms in markets is buy when there's blood in the streets. Well, let me tell you, there's blood in the streets. Right now, there is a lot of blood in the streets. And as we are seeing, going to the daily, the markets are starting, Bitcoin at least, is starting to rebound a little bit. Will it continue up? It's hard to say. At this point, no one can tell you where this market is going to go in the short term. In the short term, it's anybody's guess. In the long term, I absolutely see this market going up to $100,000. Absolutely, I see that happening. Over the next year or two, by the end of 2021, I absolutely believe that we're going to see ourselves up here at $100,000 or higher. But you have to be willing to take that risk, take that chance. As they always say, high risk equals high reward. And as always, prior performance is no indication of future gains. We see that very, very well here. My main takeaway for this entire video is don't panic. If you haven't sold, if you bought Bitcoin and you haven't sold yet, I'm going to hold on to mine. I can't tell you what to do. I can't give you advice. I no longer have broker-dealer licenses, and even if I did, I couldn't give you advice without talking to you individually. So I can't give you advice. I can only tell you what I'm going to do. And as scary as this is, I am holding on to my Bitcoin, and I am buying more at this low price of $5,300. What a deal. It went on sale. This is a sale. As long as you believe in the basics of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, but Bitcoin specifically, then you should also believe that the price of Bitcoin over the long term is just going to go up. This is a bump in the road. And therefore, it should not scare you into selling. Nothing should scare you into selling. You should sell when you get to a certain point and you want to call out some of your gains. That's what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to retire on this money. And within the next 5 years, I absolutely believe that in the next 5 years, Bitcoin will be worth at least $1 million, if not more. So no, I'm not going to put my future at risk by selling now and scaring myself out of the market. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to put links in the description of this video to the people I've mentioned. Certainly Mike Maloney at Gold Silver. Absolutely, his main thing, his biggest driver is he wants you to buy gold and silver from him, but his information is really good, especially Hidden Secrets of Money. He's got a 10-part series that he created over the last 10 years that talks about what money is, how it's made, and why the government is screwing things up. And it's the same stuff you've heard me talk about, and Nicholas Merton over at DataDash has talked about it, and we're getting it from him, and it is absolutely worth your time and effort to watch. But he's also been doing a lot of videos about what's going on now. In fact, he's been, over the last week, as this market has been crashing, he's been doing daily videos to talk about what's going on and what he sees. Absolutely worth your time. Bob Lucas is another one he's the one who first showed me about the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. He put out a video yesterday. This was, Bob Lucas puts out a video every 6 or 8 weeks. This drop in the price was big enough, bad enough, that he put a video out yesterday saying, don't panic. So we're all following course. We're all following suit and saying, don't panic. If this scares you out of the market, you had far too much money in to begin with. If you plan to come back in, do it with a smaller amount. Something that when the price drops like this, and it will, it doesn't bother you. That's the biggest thing I can say is, and again, not advice, but this is how I invest. I only put money in that I can afford to lose. Anyway, that's what I've got for you this week. Until next week, do your best and try to keep hodling.